Welcome to BlackUSA.news morning show. I'm your host, William Honolulu Jr. Join us as we explore the news and opinions that impact our community. We break down how the major stories have a very personal, local, and racial impact. No topic is off limits, but even if the conversation gets rough, we're always going to keep it real.
Greetings and salutations, all my friends out there in internet land. I am William Honolulu Jr., and I have the privilege and honor of being the host of the Black USA News Morning Show. Today is Monday, March 28th, 2022, the 28th day of Women's History Month. Wow, that's gone really fast. The month of Black women has just gone, and it's been amazing. Today is actually part of National Cleaning Week. Now, when I found this out, I looked around my house and I was like, this might be something I want to celebrate. Actually, I think it might be mandatory for me to celebrate it at this point because y'all don't need to know my business. I apologize. I don't even know why I come out here just telling y'all all the stuff about my life. That's because I like you guys. I enjoy my job. This is so fun. Oh, make sure that you check the descriptions in the link to make sure you patronize our sponsors. We have some amazing sponsors. STEM City USA, Dr. Tyrone Taborn, Darker Than Blue, Edible Arrangements, I Am Black Wall Street, The Grinding Gang. Just look through and you'll see some amazing things. Also, if you hit us up at The Grinding Gang, info@grindinggang.com. We'll send you a template or an example of a business plan or a grant. So, we're always trying to help people make sure you all have what you need to be successful. I want to give a big shout out to the super producer, Kyle Crazy Horse Morgan, and our assistant producer, Brandy Raymar. It is amazing to have a team that you can just count on and will have your back and can make a good show. Some quality for y'all. One of the organizations that we are so happy to be able to support right now is Breadcoin. Take a look at this. This is what the bread coins look like. Breadcoin is an organization that seeks to address the food insecurity. That's what it is, and starvation zones. I always get so pissed when I think of the starvation zone because you literally have places where people are dying because they don't have enough to eat. And somehow our society is okay with that. I'm sorry, but not all of us. Watch this. Breadcoin. They're not okay with it. So what they've been doing is that they go in to the communities and they partner with people who are already connected with the community to make sure that the Breadcoin can get to people who really do need it. It is so amazing to watch happen because it gives people an opportunity to address hunger with dignity. A lot of times when people go into some of these restaurants, when they have hunger issues, people look at them differently. But when you go in using Breadcoin, nobody knows whether you're a volunteer or a program participant. You get to eat your meal. You get to eat it with dignity. Here is a map. You can see they're real heavy in DC, and they're growing in Baltimore. So if you have a restaurant, food services business, and you want to be a part of addressing hunger and making things better for our community, make sure that you all hit up Breadcoin. All right. I love when there's an opportunity for us to support a really good organization. I love it. Let's see what else, because I'm excited because we about to get to the month of Black women, and y'all. I bring y'all dope women all the time, but this one, she not only dope, she got a little stuff with her. She slick with the mouth. So this should always be fun. We always have a good time. But more than anything, I'm gonna tell you who she is. Stacey Dennis. Stacey Dennis and I have been friends for so long, a good 10, 15 years. And one of the cool parts about our friendship is that it started off in service. Not only did it start off in service, we both found that we both worked in public health and we worked with sexual minorities and people on issues around sex. Oh, y'all didn't know I did that? Y'all didn't know I used to work with people around sexual issues? I got a very diverse background. Not as diverse as this young lady, because she an entrepreneur, public health, a lot of everything. All right, I'm sorry, I gotta look at my show notes. Horace said, don't get too excited. Don't get too excited, relax. Okay. This is a conversation, not just with us on the phone, like other people care. So I gotta prepare myself. But for those of you all, some of you all have no idea what our month of Black women is. Let me tell you about it.
Dear Shanae and Simone, as you move through life as Black women, you will have a very unique experience. In many cases, you will be asked or expected to serve in roles that weren't clearly explained, nor did you really agree to. Over the course of my life, I have met some amazing women who have navigated some of the spaces that you will encounter. I want my village to share with you their stories of trials and successes to help provide a foundation to understand your power to choose the woman that you will become and the strength that you can find in your sisters. This series of shows is my gift to you. The women you will hear from are phenomenal. They come from different backgrounds and have chosen different paths for their lives. Each represents a facet of the Black woman experience. Some of the stories may not align with your journey directly, but those stories are even more important. By listening closely, you can learn about uncommon experiences and find ways to support your sisters along your shared journey. I love you all so much, and I hope to see you soon.
So that is our month of Black women. And I get an opportunity to bring another dope Black woman to y'all. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Here she goes. Stacey Dennis.
Hey.
Hey, honey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Awesome.
I was listening to that intro. I was like,
Absolutely. I mean, the cool part is that I've been watching you, and not just as a friend, but like watching you from a professional perspective, because I am subject matter expert when it comes to small business growth, also a public health authority. Yeah, so I got some stuff with me, and I can say with my professional experience, my professional opinion, it has been a joy to watch you grow and develop throughout your entrepreneurial journey. I know you're not where you want to be or where you believe you should be. Real talk, I get that. But I have seen people who get to their destination very quickly. They fall off sometimes even quicker. And so I do appreciate the fact that as you have been building your business, you have been building your business. Not trying to hustle into cash and stuff like that, but really build a meaningful business and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure, I don't do fluff. I don't say stuff, because I got to respect my audience. If I tell them that you dope and that you got it going on and you don't, they gonna come look at me like,
they be like, she funky. She not. What was that?
Can't have that. I can't have credibility problems. I got enough problems of my own. I'm gonna make mistakes on my own. I can't make mistakes on somebody else, man.
You be like, she funky. I checked that out. Ew.
So I got to go back to my show notes. They said that just because I know you, they may not. So why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Gosh, you're right. It has been a while since that we've known each other, and we knew each other in service in the Urban League, serving our communities. And I was like, not only is this cat brilliant, he's very, very funny. And at the time, I was working at the Baltimore City Health Department as a disease intervention specialist for their STD program. So my background is in sexually transmitted infections.
But you might not want to say that your background is in
sexually transmitted infections and sex. It was the greatest job. Maybe not for the people I had to go find, but it was the greatest job.
So,
because, go.
You about to get us off the show, because I'm about to have a whole other conversation. I was
I'm just gonna skim. I'm just gonna.
Okay.
It's gonna skim. So, my background is in disease intervention. How about that? When I intervened in disease, and the beautiful thing about that was that not only were you bringing people to treatment and helping people educating them about the course of disease. You were also looking at how our society works in that subject area. And our society is the cause for a lot of this stuff, how we operate as a people. And I quickly realized that there were gaps in the education we were giving our young people. Hell, there are gaps in the adults too, but it's gaps in how we educate our young people about what's happening to their bodies and sex. And so I tried to fill that gap by creating my own comprehensive sexual education program. And the city let me do it on city time. They were like, yeah, go ahead. I don't think they thought I would do it, but I did it. Mm-hmm. And it actually worked out pretty good. It was very well received, and by interacting with young people. And honestly, I target those 9th grade and up. Mm-hmm. And by up, I also mean the adults. Because some of y'all need a recourse. Yeah. You need a refresher.
Make bad decisions when it comes to sexual. All right, so we're gonna keep it consistent though, because I want to bring you the same experience that other guests have had. So
got you.
The way we start off the interview is Jeff Bezos shoots a rocket into space. Okay, mm-hmm. This will come around, swear will, and it's flying in space, orbiting Earth, and as it's doing that, there's some aliens that are flying past our solar system. They're like, "Oh, what's happening over there?" So they fly over because they see the penis rocket, and then they come to Earth, and they're like, "Oh, snap! That's like 7 billion of y'all. So hey, how are you all different?" Stacey Dennis, is it? Yes. Could you come? Because we have no frame of reference. Could you come and help us understand what it's like to be a Black woman?
What it's like to be a Black woman. You know what? When you asked me to be here, I had to really think about that. Only because I wanted to be fair. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be fair and not interject how I currently feel, which is a little overwhelmed.
Oh no, let's go with that.
But honestly, I feel a little overwhelmed. Okay. I felt even more overwhelmed by looking at our Supreme Court confirmations, because everything on her face was how I currently feel. I feel like I have to be Superwoman all the time. Even when the mediocre gets charging ahead of me, I'm like, good. You know, it feels like I'm on all the time. And there's some place, there's a place that I want to be in my life, financially, socially, spiritually, and it's a constant struggle for some of those. Spiritually, we good. I got my ancestors, and we're working along. But getting to where you want to be in this country is just a constant struggle to be outstanding all the time.
So,
and it's sometimes I'm exhausted. Sometimes, honestly, I go to bed.
Mm-hmm. Funny, but not funny, but that has been a consistent theme this month. Really? A lot of women talking about this idea that they have to always perform at 10 while watching 7s just skate by. But one of the phrases that I hear often, and I'm hopeful that you might be able to help delve into it or tease it out a little bit, is this idea that you have to. Like, one of them talked about, and phrase, you ready? Oh, I know you love the words. You ready for a new phrase?
Give it to me.
Weaponized incompetence. But right, all of a sudden, it's like that makes so. I don't understand why we haven't been using this for the last 10 years. Like,
no, we just call it microaggression. It's the whole reason I left a job in another state. Because the incompetence was the incompetent ones was being promoted. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, not only did I have to perform at a 10, I had to find a way to fix my face. But it's unfortunate, because if it doesn't come out my mouth, you see the size of this forehead, it'll ticker tape across it like a Macy's parade. I don't like you. That was stupid.
But a lot of times it seems like they push you all back on, like, not only do you have to perform at 10, you have to make sure that everybody else is comfortable with your performance at 10 and not exposing their mediocrity. You see, like, am I making that clear? Like, you still have to perform at 10, but you can't make it seem like anybody else is performing under 10 themselves, because then you're the problem. You're angry. You're bringing stuff up, or is that not your experience?
That has been that. Like I said, that was the entire reason why I left a job in the state and came back home, because that was exactly what happened. I was supervisor for a particular health department. I'll leave the state out of it, and in my head, a good manager pushes her people forward. And the first thing I told my people is, I'm training you to take my job. I'm training you to be, if this is what you want to do, now if there's something else you want to do, I'm going to train you as far as I can and then push you over there, because that's where you want to be. But if you want to be here and you want to progress, I'm going to train you to be better and take my job. And so I trained, I made sure that all of my staff was like that. That did not go unnoticed from managers in other places. And so I had to defend my people. You know, I had to defend. I'll give you a perfect example of the pushback I got. I got a phone call that said, Stacey, we got a complaint. One of the patients said that one of your people insisted he called him Mr. whatever. And I said, okay, I'm confused about what's the issue. Well, you know, we try to be friendly with our patients here. They can call us by our first name. Pause. Give me the name of the patient you were talking about. It's a white patient. This happens to be a Black male, and an older Black male. You don't get to call him by his first name. You call him whatever he tells you to call him. The end. He's not your friend. At this point, he's an investigator investigating you for an STD. You don't sleep with him. You're not a part of his family. He is Mr. Whoever he says to call him as. That's it. The end. If you want to be friends, that's fine. But with the moment I tell you to call me Miss Dennis, that's what you'll call me. And that's it. And so that kind of thing got, why are you so angry? I'm not angry. But I'm going to tell you, that's it. That's it. Have a good day. And that was the kind of a thing I had to, it is exhausting. That kind of thing did not go unnoticed by people of thing.
When you say it didn't go unnoticed, by whom?
Those sevens you were talking about.
The what?
Those sevens you were talking about. Yeah.
So one of the things that, again, we've heard a repeated theme this month is this idea that when you give pushback, you are angry. And it seems like the purpose of Black women, aside from all the stuff we don't want to acknowledge they do, is to make sure that we all feel comfortable. And our comfort, at least the way society portrays it, our comfort is a priority over a Black woman's comfort. A Black
exactly.
woman, if whoever needs to eat first, you need to eat last. Whoever needs to go to the doctor first, you need to go last. Even in medical professions, they say that Black women are capable of handling more pain than white women and other people. And it's like, not even based on science. Is that part of your experience?
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? I just had to, my mother is a prime example of that. I had to talk to a doctor who was, and my mother's in Kansas. And so we were on the phone and I said, you ripped out all the teeth in my mother's head for a procedure and sent her home with ibuprofen. Is there a reason why you didn't send her home with a narcotic? Because now my mother's in the hospital because she didn't eat, she didn't drink, and she's been in pain for the last 3 days. Yeah. And he says, well, you know, that's what we could give her. I said, that is not what we could give her. You know what? It's okay. I'll be on a plane on the next plane out there. She called me 5 minutes later and said, they gave me a narcotic. Oh, I know they did. Because the last thing I said to this doctor is, it's okay. There's been plenty of studies that show Black women seemingly can take pain more than anybody else, and that's a fallacy. They continually under-medicated for their pain. Don't worry, I'm on the next plane out. My mother called me back 5 minutes later. She said, they gave it to me. Oh, I know they did. Oh, I
But
know
how
they
did
did.
that impact you? Like, that's a win, but it doesn't sound like it's a win.
It's not a win until I finish writing the letter to send it to the state.
Well,
It's
but I'm
not a
saying you
win
still have to
because
do all of that.
you do, because where she is, unless you complain in written form and make it, I can't just go in there with my hair bonnet and curlers and just cuss people out. That's not going to do anything. If I have to write a letter, my intention is to get you fired.
Okay.
And I write it from that standpoint. Because you sent a 70-year-old woman into the hospital at the point that she had to go into the hospital. Her potassium is low because she hasn't eaten or drunk anything in days, because her mouth hurt, because she was under medicated pain. It's just a whole thing that as a medical provider, we're supposed to take care of. So it's not a win unless we do and that's probably what's exhausting for a lot of women, because when you see something that needs to be done for you, for your people, for your community, you have to do the and.
You can't just tell somebody like, hey,
you can't just complain. You can't just complain and put it on TikTok. You have to and you have to and with the intention of getting someone fired, getting a policy written, getting a law passed. You have to be committed to the change you want to see. And that is what's tiring, because it's constant.
But there's also so many things that come at you guys. To do each one at that level is not possible. Again, unless you're really talking about genuine Black girl magic, like dark magic, like tapping into the dark dimension type magic. Otherwise, there's still you get the same 168 hours in a week that I do.
Right. And honestly, this is where your sisters come in, because as someone brilliant just told me, it's not possible for you to do something well in all areas. Someone who just told me that.
That sounds like wisdom.
Someone who just told me that. However, whereas I may not be great in fiscal policies, I know sisters who are. And I may not know where to find a particular law, but I know sisters who do. And there may be a facet of federal government that I'm not sure in how to navigate, but I have friends who work in that area. And I'm, Christine, girl, I need help with this NIH. Can you tell me who I need to call? You know what I mean? And that's where you need your tribe. And I have just a sick, amazingly talented tribe of women that I rely on for advice and direction. And sometimes I just need to fuss. And they tell me that too. But then after I fuss, they're like, okay, so you done? You want to? Like,
let's get it done then. Let's get it fixed.
No, I'm not done. She was like, all right, let me know when you finish whining. Why do I call you? She was like,
I don't know.
So you can get help with this. Let me know when you're done. And then I do I do the same form. Honestly, it's you need your tribe of people. You can't do everything on your own. You can't. You'll end up, medicated somewhere.
Well, sometimes even with a tribe, you might end up medicated because the medication's okay. But how did you find your tribe? I know you have a really close-knit family, but if you didn't have that, I know you have a lot of your sisters that fall outside of your traditional, genetic, somebody in my family had sex with each other and somehow now I have responsibility to you family. But we have
a Black culture thing. We have a lot of cousins, right?
but one of the things I think is very real to that whole having a lot of cousins is that some of the people we share blood with ain't even all that good family.
Hello?
And we are able to grab some of these other sisters and brothers and they're like, I will call you well before anybody who shares an ounce of DNA.
And it's true. It is absolutely true. When my son turned 21, I made this huge post on Facebook. I call him the Spawn, and every birthday card I've given him had a picture of the Spawn on it. And I said, now that you're 21, here's my advice to you. And I said, if you need legal help, call this person, call him. If you need advice on cooking or call here. If you need a acupuncture check, call here, and I listed their names and I linked them and they were like, yep, call me, and it was hilarious because I sat there and I looked at that post and I was like, these are all of my first calls. These are the people who, I said, if you need backup at 3:00 in the morning, call this person, but be careful. She comes with a bat.
And if she gets started, you ain't gonna be able to turn her off.
Like, square up, And I said, this is my tribe. And I looked at it and I was like, I have either through public service or my high school, the Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. I have gained an amazing, knowledgeable, successful tribe of people. I was a single mother, and so those things where he needed a male's advice. I said, if you don't call granddaddy, call these men, because they are amazing fathers and they are amazing men, and they have things to tell you I can't teach you. And I looked at it and I was like, total praise. I have gained an amazing tribe, and they're still there. And yeah, they ask about him. They're like, "Are you all right? You need anything?" I'm like, "You can go ask him. Yeah, he's fine." And you're right. Some of them were family, but a lot of them weren't.
So how did you get the ones that weren't family? I know the ones that are family, they show up at the cookouts and stuff like that.
I was involved in a lot of things. I'm a Zeta, so Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and my frat from Phi Beta Sigma.
Real quick, big shout out to Lillette Williams. She was a guest. She actually was a guest not too long ago. So big shout out to her.
That's right. My sorors and my frat. My son was around them all the time. And because we do a lot of service together, I'm around these people all the time. And so you get to know people and you get to know the things that they're good at and you get close. The Urban League, another one of my tribes, some ridiculously talented, ridiculously successful group of people. I gotta tell you that Urban League conference I went to was life-changing. I learned so much. I had a ball.
That was the other thing that people don't realize about a lot of the service activities is like, we get there, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, moving this, going to this meeting. Oh, but we get there a little bit late at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning because we probably didn't get back in until like 3 or 4.
Exactly. And from that group of people, I have, I know someone who went into the upper echelons of the federal government. We got a state delegate on board. I was like, yeah, there's some successful people. Rub off on me, And when you have those type of people in your corner, you can't help but get better at what you do or where you want to go. Because look at who's around you. I hang with winners. I hang with winners, and if you want to see a whole bunch of winners, get involved in some type of service to whatever community you are dedicated to, and you will see some amazing people. And step outside your box, because some of those people have ideas who are different from yours, and that may actually work. If your ideas have not flown, maybe because you need to be around another group of people who will show you a different way. That's why I have William. William, I'm stuck. And he'd be like, let me tell you why you stuck. However, if they're two friends, be prepared to hear some truth. You may not like it though.
But I think for one of the big parts about people who are really part of your tribe is that you always assume that it's coming from the best place. Like if you and I have a conversation and you say something that hit me a certain way, my default is I felt that. I know she didn't mean it. If I'm questioning, I'm like, hey, yo, While you and if you meant it, you'd be like, I meant it, and then we have that conversation.
Right.
Even after it, it's this deliberateness that we are going to make this work. We are friends, and stuff will pop up, and we'll resolve it, and then we'll be friends who will continue. It is the decision. It's not this magical, you can find them and the heart tells you and nothing, and you will know them when you see them.
Yeah.
All of that fairy tale stuff. I really think, especially the way Black women are told these types of fairy tales about all of their relationships. Your children should be this way. They should make you feel this way. You should always be happy about being a mother. Then there's
Let me tell you something. Don't let nobody be like being a mother.
You talk about motherhood. Go ahead. You educate the peoples.
Don't let them. I love my son, but sometimes I ain't like him. I'm like, ooh, Lord.
Yeah.
Just a couple swallows and you wouldn't have been here, but it's okay.
I remember when I was when my kids were, I had both of them by then, so I guess LJ may have been 6 or 7. I came home to my parents. I said, you know what, guys? I have to apologize to you. I have good kids. Like my kids are amazing, good.
Yes,
they don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
But it was kicking my butt. And let me just say, I was not similarly situated as my children. I was not a well-behaved child. Police came to my house on a couple of occasions. In the 6th grade, I got suspended 8 times. So I realized, because the I thought it was just, that's just what kids do. Apparently, that's not. But even in that space, being a parent is challenging. And what I have been able to see in some of the conversations we've had this month is that being a Black woman, especially parent to a male child, it is a totally different experience. And I know we have friends who have daughters that are about Spawn's age. Talk about the differences that you've seen in the experience raising a boy than you have seen some of your peers in raising a girl.
I want to say that when I got pregnant, and I wasn't young, I was 24. I was living on my own. Took me a week to tell my daddy, and I was living on my own. I was like, I ain't telling him. He's just gonna have to wonder why I'm fat. I refuse. And I was like, we're not doing this. I still haven't told my daddy I had sex. My son is 25. I was like, still not telling you. How about that? So we're gonna have this conversation. And my son was male, and at the time, all I could focus on was how to be the best, how to not ruin him. That was my thing. That was my thought process. How do I not turn this into a piece of crap? How do I not fail this boy? And so it's a huge chip on my shoulder. I had to finish school. I had to get a job. I had to do those things so that, he could do football and taekwondo and play the violin, all of which he actually did. And then somewhere around the time where he discovered fuzzy dice, because that's how he called it, when he discovered them hairs pop up. He came to me and he said, I've got fuzzy dice. And I was like, I've never wished for Alzheimer's as much as I do right now. Why are you telling me this? And then they proceeded to show me those 3 hairs. And I looked at him and I was like, yeah, that's just, I'm gonna need a male here to tell you. And I realized there were things, although I could take care of, there are certain things I can't teach him. I could teach him from my perspective, but it comes out different when there's a baritone voice and a large testosterone level attached to it. It comes out different. It hits in my head, it hits your soul different. And so I had to find a way to provide that. Now I have my father and I have my male cousins, but the people I were around a lot was frat and Urban League. And so when you saw me bring my son, I was like, go over there.
Absolutely. That's how I met him. There was like some random little boy walked up to me. I was like, hey, yo, who you with? He's like, that's my mother over there. I was like, hey, You're like, yeah, that's my son. I was like, oh, okay. What's up, old man? Okay, cool. And,
Right.
and guess what? What happened next? Hey, don't pick that up and he'll help us move this. Just jump straight in. And this is what we do here. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep. And he listened, and he was actually watching. Would come home and he's like, Mr. William, blah, blah, blah. I was over there with them. And I sat there and I just let it sink into my soul for a little bit. And I was like, that's what he needed. You know what I mean? You don't have to be around mom and her hot flashes and her periods all the time. You know, it's what you needed. I had a friend. It's not until he was older that I discovered that there were actually schools in the comedic form, you know, very for Black males. And I didn't even know about it. If I did, I'd have put him in one. I'd have spent some money. I'd have twirled myself on a pole somewhere. I'd have gotten the money somehow and sent him there because it focused on him as a Black male. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. If I knew about it, I would have done my best to put him in there while, you know, in those formative years. But what I had was y'all, and I had Fred, and I had my dad and my uncles, and that's how I tried to provide what it was that I could not provide.
Okay. So what happens, one of the questions that we've had before is that what happens if the male role models that are indigenous to your life, because there's a lot of women who may not have access to frat like you do. There's some women who part of the problems in their lives are the men that they grew up with. And so
you got to remove them. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm lucky. I have some fantastic men in my family.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna lie. They are all winners. The exception, there's a couple of them. It's okay. It's fine. But
majority winners.
We got them couple that just makes you mentally.
Like they are related.
But I gotta say, my male cousins, I'm so proud of them. I do love them. I love them because I ain't had no brothers. Daddy gave me 2 sisters. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Just question your sperm, but it's all right. It's fine. My male cousins are great. For the women who, they're your kids, and you got to put them around the best. I won't say the best. You got to put them around people that won't do them harm and damage. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you have someone in your life, I don't even care if they're male or not. If you got someone in your life that will do harm and damage to your kids psychologically, socially, emotionally, physically, you got to get them out of there. No, you don't have to sit on Uncle's lap. You don't trust him. Mm-hmm. You know? And there's some societal things we're going to have to address and fix. Mm-hmm. You know, like being around Uncle so-and-so, knowing that he touches people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is a big deal. And it's one of the things that my experience is that is also a burden that Black women bear. One young lady told me that she didn't tell anybody that one of her family members touched her because she was afraid of ruining the family because it would make her dad mad and then there would have been a fight and dad might have gone to jail. So she was like, in order to save my family, I'm going to let this happen and I'm going to hold it in.
Yeah, no, my family squeals, but you know, but
again, because they
have a different family.
Because they squeal, that means that there's not a lot of the safety issues. You can have a safe family because we're going to tell. You hurt anybody in the family, we're going to tell. And that creates that level of safeness, that level of security where I know if I come and tell cousin Stacey, aunt Stacey that somebody touched me, she's going to believe me. And she's going to do what's in my best interest, not just to make herself feel good, not just to fight somebody.
Exactly. Oh yeah, absolutely. Not just to fight somebody.
Like, again, because wow, that's a whole thing.
There you go.
We've had conversations before about, situations that we've known with other people. And the reality is that while violence would be one of the options that is under consideration, let's not pretend that we'll figure out how to do it in a way that actually preserves the victim, not in a way that now you got to worry about retaliation or the family, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, we protect the victim first, not make myself feel better so I can macho out and go whoop his ass. Yeah, because you touched my... No, it's like,
right.
The child is always first. And I think that if we could transition a little bit, just setting this up as a segue, I'm going to see how I can work it. Okay. So in that, it also goes to the best interest of the child when you're talking about co-parenting, or as a parent, how you navigate relationships in your life. Because you could turn off mate, wife, but you can't turn off mother. Like once that thing comes out, it's there. Like you don't get breaks. And so what I have seen is that a lot of Black women sacrifice or I want to say, it's so funny that I've been trained so well that I don't want to say the word retard, but that's actually anyway.
No, it's a good word.
Yeah, so it retards the growth and development of your personal and your emotional health and your healing and that kind of stuff.
That is exactly right. And I had to, once again, one of my tribe, her name was Sheila Lopes, and she came into my life. I think my son was about maybe 4. And she looked at me one day and she was like, "You crazy." And I was like, "I ain't crazy. You know how we say, girl, you crazy." She's like, "You unbalanced." And I was like,
"What?"
And we were at work at the health department. She's like, "It's struggle. It's hard being a single parent, but you are unbalanced." And it's the first time I had heard it. And of course, no one tells you because everybody around you is struggling just like you are, probably just as unbalanced. But I was like, I don't understand what you're talking about. I went into her office, just wanting to have a general conversation about what she means I was unbalanced, and was an hour later just blobbering. I was like, work. I gotta go find these people. They got syphilis. And she was like, "Your tail down here." Talk to me. I was like, okay. For an hour. And everything that was going on with me and how I approached my relationships and how I was being a mother, doing this, doing that. Because at the time that I was working, I was also in school and I had no car. So I had to get on the bus and take the boy. I mean, it was just, I spilled everything. By the time I was done, probably 2 hours later, probably felt about 15 pounds lighter. Snot everywhere. It was just ridiculous. And she's like this. It's like, at the moment, I hated her because this is not cute.
Like, why are you making me do this?
She was just like, "It's okay. You'll love me tomorrow." I was like, "Well, not now." But she was right. I did love her the next day. And it is we don't realize that we still have to be a whole person sometimes. And it's what I had to learn. I had to unplug being mommy. And thankfully, I had a tribe that allowed me to go on vacation. She said, go somewhere because you need to unplug. You're doing too much. She said, you do too much. And I was like, I need to finish school. I need to, If you leave Khalil with a couple of, for a couple of days, he ain't gonna die. Go somewhere. And I was like, well, damn. The person telling me this was my supervisor.
Wow.
He took my son for 5 days. She took my son for 5 days while I went to Mardi Gras. No lie. Came back Fat Tuesday. Came back to the office, had 70 pounds of beads. But I came back refreshed, had a great time. You know what I mean? She took my kid from me for 5 days. When I tell you I have been blessed by people who prioritized my mental health in the times that I did not. And came back. She was like, "This is fun without you." I was like,
Actually, I've heard that that's been a really disorienting thing for some moms, because for a lot of them, that's their core identity, that my kid needs me, and they've built a life around this idea. And when they find out their kid doesn't need them,
right,
like, everything, you don't even know what to do with yourself. Was that part of your experience, or were you pretty familiar with to do with yourself outside of motherhood?
No, I took the day and, was like this, like, what am I supposed to do now? And they were like, it's Bourbon Street. We are in Louisiana. Get with it. And since that time, every year, the kid went someplace else, and I took some time for myself. That was a thing. And he said, you going somewhere again? I said, I will be a better mommy to you when I come back. And it was necessary. It was necessary. Shoot, from that point, I branched out. I went to Morocco. I was like, bump this. I'm leaving the hemisphere. And I went away on a yoga retreat. I was like, and I was like, when I come back, I will be less stressed and a better mother to you, because that's what fed my soul. Now, it's not the same. It's something else could feed someone else's soul, but it was the taking of time to remember I'm still Stacey. Even though I had a kid, I let the uterus work one time, but I'm still Stacey, and Stacey needs this in order to continue to be the best person to my son, to myself, to the job. I need this. And sometimes we forget that. In the rush to be a mom, you're not going to get any trophies. You may be two types of crazy by the time that kid goes off to college or whatever. And that's not what you want. That's not what you want. You were a whole person before that egg met that sperm. Well, maybe you weren't a whole person, and that's something else that needs to be addressed. And it's okay to address those things, because that's where you want to get to. You want to be like this. You want to be whole. You don't want to be incomplete. And you don't want to be, what she called me, unbalanced and crazy. And I just sat down with my little 27-year-old self. I was like, I'm not crazy. She was like,
oh, honey, yeah, you are.
Like, that's sweet. She's like, come in my office. I'm not coming in your office.
So
it was good. It was good for me.
We have a little bit of time left, and guest choice. We can either talk about your journey as an entrepreneur, or we can talk about your kind of journey in the space of dating relationships. We touched on it a little bit. It's up to you.
Oh my God, which one is more volatile? You know what? My journey as an entrepreneur is still evolving. I've got so many irons in the fire, and it's organizing them is something that we talked about. And, just to make sure that I get to do what it is that I want to do justice, right? You can see some of my journey behind me. These is part of my my online presence. But sometimes Black women, we sacrifice the emotional things, and we can't. That was also a part of Sheila making snot drip down my nose. She says, you and this big old wall you got put up just because you and your baby daddy didn't work out. We're going to take that down. That's just ridiculous. That right there is a whole journey, because at that point, when I was 27, I didn't know enough about what I wanted in order to answer any of her questions. What I wanted in a partner. And you don't want to be like, well, what do you want? And you have this laundry list of things that not even Jesus can fulfill, And it wasn't until, honestly, I hit my 40s that I knew enough about myself to not only know what I wanted, but more importantly, what I did not want for me or anybody else coming into my space. I knew that I did not like chaos. So if that's what you brought,
you gotta go.
Because that's not what I want here. And that's so broad, right? Just don't bring me chaos. You getting beat down by 7 baby mamas, and your health is questionable. You can't hold a conversation. You probably got one for me, and it's okay. It's fine. You're just not the one for me. And honestly, it wasn't until my 40s. And it wasn't because I didn't meet great guys. It's because I didn't meet a better Stacey.
Mm.
And so, and there were things that I had to forgive, like the choice of father that I picked for my son. I had to forgive myself for that because, you were young. And it's okay. The kid is great. You are progressing. Stop being mad. And that was a challenge for me because I was always mad because I felt I had to do it by myself. And what the hell? But that kind of thing.
It's not fair.
It's not fair to hold on to it because it kind of stops me. Because it's done is done. The boy is 25. Who am I getting mad at now? The boy got hair. Full beard. Look, the boy's walking around looking like the Whiskers. Full beard going on. And you still mad. That doesn't make it
okay to be mad. Because that hurts. Like, how do you just get over it?
It's okay to recognize that I made a poor choice at the time. But am I still the same Stacey? No. I'm not the same Stacey. And it's okay.
I'm not talking about the cognitive piece. I'm talking about the emotional piece. Because I'll speak for myself. There's been a lot of cognitive stuff that I've been like, I will not do this. She is not healthy. She is toxic. Bring. Hey.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely recognize that. If you see that, that's what that's part of the learning process. If you see that trend in someone else, they're not for you because you're not there anymore. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not there anymore.
But how do you deal with your own emotions? Because your mind may know this is not good for me, but that heart, that emotion, that cognitively, like, I can list all the reasons that I should not be with Stacey, but Lord, if she calls me, I will be at her house.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I never let that. I never had.
Okay.
Okay. For me, I never had that problem because once I realized that, and I had one relationship that took me years because he had an emotional tie to me because he was like me with a penis. I mean, we were good. We were good.
Like that bonding and that commonality.
Yeah. We were two idiots in a pea pod. I mean, we were really good together. But there, he had an issue that I just couldn't. There was just no going over, and I was like, "You were stopping the real person that is supposed to be with you from coming in your presence because you got this, and this will never be yours." And I was like, "Right."
Makes sense.
Especially popular. I was like, "This will never be yours," and I had to realize that. And then once I said that to myself, and I was like, right. So then I'm mad for a whole different reason. I done wasted way too much time. And that wasn't even on him. It was on me because he can't do what I don't allow. And
was it really a waste? And so this is one of the things I'm trying to understand myself. Was it a waste or was it my uncle called things like that tuition? Like
things that you paid for it. You paid for that education. That's a good idea.
I got about 5 years in tuition out here somewhere on the streets.
There's a high rate of tuition I paid on that one in terms of time.
Now, the thing is that let's try to make sure that the degree we got with it, we can use that later. See, I love metaphors. I'm gonna keep rocking this one out.
Exactly. So, and that's the hope. That's the newer. That's what you've learned, and so hopefully you'll grow from that. And that's my lesson anyway for me.
Okay. So on behalf, I'm the liaison for the aliens. So on behalf of the aliens, thank you so much for all of this insightful information. They're going to add it to their database and really explore a little bit more.
They're going to be like, leave this planet alone.
One last question they have. You've talked about what it's like to be a Black woman, to grow and to exist there. The aliens have great influence, a lot of technology. If they could do one thing to help improve life for Black women, what should they do?
can't even answer that. I have no idea.
All right, let's bring the list in. Roll the list. They don't even got one. Because the aliens, they got. I now say that aliens have unlimited power. Go ahead.
I have what? Say that again. What can they do to make our lives better?
Yeah, make it better, easier. Or if not just all of them, how about you? What can the aliens do that can help you in your life?
Money is too easy.
Then let's get you some money. So watch this, because as their liaison, we need to tell people how they can buy stuff from you. They can check the links in the description so they can buy some stuff from you, because she said it'll help get Black women money, and she a Black woman. So okay, that's one.
Here's the thing. This is what I would wish for my sisters is peace right here. A lot of the things that we go through, causes damage, causes chaos. And if you have and unfortunately, sometimes it takes years for us to learn the things we need to do to center ourselves, so that we can do the things we want to do. Right? Like so much damage I've seen among my sisters, because of hurt done here. If there was a balm or, a lotion or a potion that we could take to help us get that inner peace, and to center ourselves in whichever way, that helps you spiritually. I have friends who are Buddhist. I have friends who are Christian, Muslim. I myself is African, traditional African ideology. Whatever that looks like for you, to grab hold of it. Because once you're beautiful in here, once you're centered in here, so many things are easier for you to navigate. And I've seen people just drawn. When you have a beautiful spirit, things and people are just drawn to you, because you exude something so beautiful. If I could give that to my sisters, that's what I would give. Unfortunately, attaining that sometimes is a hard battle.
Hey, but we got aliens now. We got aliens. We'll work it out.
They don't want none. They don't want these blues. They don't want these blues. So sometimes attaining that is a hard battle. But that's what I would wish for, because everything else would come easier after that.
One of the things you said is that there are things that people look for that may bring them peace, but they're concerned because it takes time. Some of the stuff that will bring you peace, some of the stuff, the therapy, the classes and stuff like that, they will take time
and effort.
But that time is going to pass anyway. Next year is going to come. The only question is, where are you going to be when it gets here?
Exactly.
So I am grateful for you. You need to come back, because we need to do a whole show about sexual health.
What? Give it to me. I'm ready.
Don't threaten me with a good time. But that's going to be one of those shows that I have to talk to my mother, have her lay hands and pray over me beforehand, because I got proclivities, and sometimes I forget.
Don't think that's a young person's game. My issues is with the older people.
Oh, no. I know, like the Happy Meals that they have at the senior buildings, and people are like, well, what are Happy Meals? Let me explain to you, because I can't be the only one disturbed by it. Let me explain to you what a Happy Meal is. The Happy Meal is the niece or nephew that comes on the 1st and the 15th to see their uncles and aunts for about an hour or so. And then they leave with money. They go out and buy stuff. All throughout assisted living homes. Actually, I heard. Okay, wait. So you know what? This is. I'm gonna call this a teaser for our next show. For you all out there, did you all know that there are websites that terminally ill patients go onto to hook up with people? And there are people who are looking to have sex with terminally ill people. You only got 6 months to live. Oh yeah, you about to get
right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Wait. No. You got cancer or you got emphysema?
Whatever.
But we're going to talk about that.
This place happy. Yeah.
We're going to talk about that later. So I'm looking forward to having you back on and really talking about sexual health and education in a way that's really meaningful and funny.
Yep. It is. Well,
Yeah.
It will be a great conversation. The teens and young adults eat it up. The adults, the older adults, some of y'all need a refresher course.
This I'm gonna have to talk to Donnie before, because they were gonna need to give me some rules before you and I do this show. Because the last time that they set me loose with no rules, I got fines, and I was like, that's not even fair. You ain't even tell me. It's like what everybody should know, and I'm like, have you met me?
Have you met
do. Don't do that. That's disrespectful. All right. See, now we're about to go head over. We're gonna do this.
We are going to go over. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Babe, thank you so much. It has been a great conversation. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Thank you.
All right. Yo, what did I tell y'all? I know dope people. Y'all don't even understand how great my life is. Like, this. I just walk around like this. I just call people on the phone, and this is the type of people that show up on the other side of my phone. Y'all don't even understand how I live. Hell, sometimes I don't understand how I live. I don't understand why they my friends to begin with, but I just say thank you and keep it pushing. All right, tomorrow we're going to have Dr. Quinyon Scott on. She's going to talk about her life as a Black woman, and we will be Black tomorrow.